what's up YouTube? Welcome back to ARC Capital Options Day Trading Mentorship. Today we are going to be going over our ARC entry criteria, how to use the clouds and VWAP bands to find high probable entries. We're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive on just the multi-time frame analysis and just showing you guys what an A+ setup looks like, or what a good cloud test looks like. So, class 16, what you'll learn building on from class 1 through 15, you've mastered the ARC system. Now we lock into the exact entry criteria. 1, multi-time frame cloud reading. 2, cloud pullback as your entry. 3, VWAP bands for confirmation. 4, 10-minute versus 30-minute sniper entries, differences between them and how to play them. 5, candle close discipline. 6, holding with the cloud. 7, exit signals, which would be a cloud flip or test of VWAP. And 8, trending versus slow day approach, knowing how to approach each day, knowing if you should play defense, sit out, or if you are going to play confidently with size, right? So going forward here, the ARC system, the big picture, identifying trend direction. So you're not going to only be using the ARC clouds on one time frame, guys, right? These work great on all time frames. But the main time frames that we use them on in a day trading aspect would be on the daily, the 4-hour, the 10-minute. You can even say 5-minute, but I don't really like to go that low anymore because it basically is too much noise. There's too much whipsawing back and forth for the cloud tests, which can create some sort of not having confidence to take the trade, right? The 10-minute is a lot more clear, showing the respect or the rejection of a cloud test, right? So that's why we emphasize 10-minute being your main time frame that you look at. So number 2, wait for the pullback. Let price come to you. Cloud pullbacks are the entry. Don't chase. Don't get in just because the stock is already running. Wait for the price to test the cloud, right? Confirm on the 10-minute close. We react. We don't predict. Wait for the 10-minute close, or wait for the 10-minute candle to close at or in the cloud before entering, right? You can easily get into a bad trade if you don't let the candle close. Candle ends up going through the cloud, starting that cloud flip. So core rule, we don't predict, we react. Always wait for the candle closes for confirmation on that 10-minute time frame, guys. So Rich, you want to go over your entry zone?
All right, so the R cloud, your entry zone. R clouds are 4 EMAs, right? There are 2 clouds. The first one is made up of the 8 and 21 EMA, and the second one is 34 and the 50 EMA. Plotted together, the space in between them is the cloud, quote unquote. Your dynamic support and resistance / entry zone, right? This is how we think about this. Anytime that a price is in a trend, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, anytime that it comes back and hits the cloud, it is testing the support or testing the resistance, and it is testing it to continue in the trend. So if it's testing to continue in the trend, you're buying in that test, right? And if it fails, it's going to tell you right away that it fails. So you'll instantly get stopped, so that's okay. Or it'll instantly start working back in your favor. It gives us high probability entries on stocks that are running on momentum-based plays. What the cloud tells you, if the price is trading above the cloud, you have a bullish bias. You're looking for calls. If the price is trading below the clouds, you're approaching the market with a bearish bias and you're looking for puts. If the price is trading inside the clouds and there's no clear direction, right? This is that transition zone. This is where you just wait and do nothing, wait for clear direction. If the clouds are flipping, it equals a trend change. You want to exit active trades or potentially enter into that trend change, right? Could also be an entry if you look at it, if you have the quick hand, if you like that. Steep cloud angle equals strong momentum, higher conviction entry, and a thinner cloud equals weaker momentum. And we'll go over that a little later. Time frames that we watch, the 10-minute and is the primary time frame that we watch. Primary entry confirmation on any cloud test, right? The 30-minute is that sniper entry zone, right? It's slower, but more of a high conviction support / resistance. Now, in this case, everything has been in an uptrend. The market has been in an uptrend lately. So every 30-minute touch of the retest of the clouds has been a very key support. 4-hour, same deal, right? Context and bigger trend direction. And the daily is for swinging context, end of day cloud positioning. We're looking for the overall sentiment of the stock, right? And
Word.
you want
So
me to go over this?
you want to, or you want me to go through it?
Got it.
All right, bet. So multi-time frame cloud alignment. More time frames aligned equals higher conviction. They don't all have to agree, but the 10-minute cloud pullback is your entry trigger. Full alignment is ideal, but not required. right? There will be times where maybe we're under the 4-hour cloud and we're starting to get that trend shift back to the upside on the 10 minute, let's say the 30 minute, the 1 hour, but not yet on the 4 hour, or maybe not on the daily yet. And we're anticipating that shift of trend, right? So it's not always required, but obviously the more time frames that you have aligned, the higher conviction you can have in your plays. Right? So going over each time frame, their purpose, what you're looking for, and candles to watch. For the daily, you're looking for trend context, right? You're seeing if your overall trend is upwards, downwards, if you're above the clouds, right? Or if you're at a test of the clouds or below them, right? So the candle to watch are the daily closes, right? Those daily closes are going to tell you a lot about what could potentially happen the next day, right? Let's say you're looking at a stock on a higher time frame and we've been trending upwards for the last 3 months, and you see that we're about to come to the daily cloud test, right? Let's say that the clouds are expanded to the upside and you're getting that cloud test, and the way the candle closes is with a wick into the cloud and a close right above it, right? What is that telling you? That's telling you that sellers tried to come, test the trend, and failed, and buyers came up by the end of that day and brought price back above the support. So that can help you with your analysis. Can you show an example? Yes. I'll show an example right now. Let me switch my screen right here. Boom. Perfect today. So let me switch my screen here. You guys can see my screen, correct? So right here we are looking at Tesla on the daily time frame, right? So what happened today? What happened yesterday? What could we tell from yesterday's close? So we had a huge rejection wick from 400. So in the day, price tried to come up to 400, rejected it. We opened up here. So this happened probably in the morning, right? Then for the rest of the day, we came down and basically closed down here. So what could you say at the end of that day? We're probably going to come down and test the cloud, right? So what happened today? Today we opened up at the daily cloud test right here. You can see that we wigged down and we started to go back up, right? That opening print, if we switch to, let's say, the 10-minute time frame here, you can see that in the morning we wigged down and then we started going back up, right? Coming up to fill in the gap that we created the day prior, and then coming up back again, testing 400. So using the clouds on the daily time frame is gonna be able to help you form a bias for that day. Are we holding the cloud? Are we bouncing off of it? Is the daily going red to green? Little stuff like that. Does that make sense? Let's go forward here. Boom. So for the 4-hour time frame, the purpose is momentum confirmation, right? Are you getting cloud bounces on the 4-hour? Are we in the middle of breaking out of the cloud, right? What are you looking for? Are the clouds sloping in the direction of the trade, right? If you're in calls, are they going upwards? Are they still expanding? Are you starting to see a flip on them, right? And what you're watching for is those 4-hour closes, right? 4-hour closes, you should be looking at the close, the open, facts. So then the 30-minute, we were talking the sniper entry zone. You're looking for cloud tests on the pullback. This is going to be more of a patient entry. This works better on days where there's maybe less volume and you actually get those 30-minute tests. Usually on a higher momentum, volume-filled, trendy day, you're going to be relying on these 10-minute tests, which is why it is our primary signal, right? So you're always looking for those 30-minute closes. You guys know that we always announce our 30-minute closes, right? So time frame for the 10-minute time frame, the purpose is the primary entry signal. Candle closes into the cloud on the pullback is your entry. You're watching for every 10-minute close, seeing if we're holding above or below the clouds. Our buyers are in control, our sellers are in control, right? So then you have spying. This is your sentiment filter. Check their cloud direction first to understand market bias. We trade individual names, not the indexes, except on strong and trendy days. As you guys could tell, the last couple weeks, pretty much all year, we've been trading individual names, guys, right? We've been following what the story is, what the sentiment is, where the money is going, right? There has been opportunity on SPY and QQQ, but as of recently, the premium hasn't been moving the same how it used to. So we've been trying to focus on where these big volatile moves are happening, right? So individual names like NVIDIA, MU, AMD, Palantir, Tesla are your primary trades, chosen based on the day's story / sentiment. Spying direction tells you which side to be on. right? So ideally, you want SPY and Q to be doing the same thing as your stock that you're looking to trade, right? In the matter that the price is in the same position compared to the cloud or the VWAP, right? So, you want to go over this?
Let's do it. I'm just trying to look for as best examples as I can. All right. The cloud pullback. Your entry signal, guys. Price trends pulls back to the cloud, and the 10-minute candle closes at/into the cloud. That is your entry. Now, what do we mean by this? Number one, you have your trend established. Spying, let's say SPY and Q cloud sets the mood. Let's say SPY and Qs are trending up, and then the individual name that you're watching is showing you the same directional bias. So let's say SPY and Qs is going up, and let's say Meta is also going up. Obviously you're not going to chase into a move. So what are you looking for? You're looking for price to pull back. Price retraces towards the cloud after an initial move up. This is normal, healthy price action, not a reversal. Why is it not a reversal? Because the clouds are and EMAs move in with price. So if we're thinking of the clouds as our trailing support or resistance, depending on the move, but in this case, if we're looking at calls, we're looking at the cloud as our trailing support. So anytime that price comes down and tests the cloud, it's testing a support for a potential entry. So the 10-minute candle tests the clouds, wait for the price to tag the cloud in the 10-minute time frame. Don't enter yet, wait for the full candle to close. Candle closes at/in the cloud. This is your entry signal. This is when you react and execute your trade. Enter the option, set your mental stop on a candle close under the cloud. Hold as long as the cloud confirmed your direction. So holding as long as the cloud confirms direction is exactly how you squeeze out those 100, 200, 300% trades. It gives you the ability to really hold those trades and really juice these trades for as much profit as you can get. Which cloud tests to look for example, SPY bounce off the hourly multiple times today. That I looked for another one across the date, only testing the 30, not the hourly.
So sometimes it really just comes down to looking at all of them. Sometimes one time frame is going to be cleaner than the other. That's why we really focus on multi-time frame analysis. If you're looking at your at your 10-minute, your 30-minute, and your hourly, you're going to be able to see where the clouds are testing, and especially where the closes are the closes on the clouds, in them, above them, below, little things like that. You can use all of them. I wouldn't say one of them is more important than another, or on certain days. I guess you could say on more trendy days, on higher algo days, those shorter time frames are going to give you the better entries, just because on the higher time frames you're not going to see a lot of pullbacks. You're going to see more extension and, well, honestly, overextension, where we eventually have to come back to reality on those higher time frames and pull back, right? But every day is different, like Rich just said.
I think you just explained that perfectly, bro. I think that was a better explanation than I could have given.
So, you want to go over your approach?
Now you're gonna go over my approach. Of
Bet,
course,
bet.
I want to go over my approach, man. Let's get money, man. So Rich's approach, man. Arc clouds only, guys. I don't use the VWAP. You guys know what I say. VWAP, SHMEWAP. Nah, VWAP is very good. VWAP is a very good indicator, but in
It can
this case,
confuse.
just for
Explain
me,
it.
I don't like to cloud my screen. I like to keep everything simple. I like to keep it very simple, if I'm being honest. Less is more, in my opinion. So for me, I only use the ARC clouds, no VWAP bands. This is a fully complete and valid approach to the ARC system, and these are my entry rules. Always check SPY and Q cloud direction, the cloud direction on the daily, on 4 hour, and on the 30-minute and 10-minute. Right. So identify the trend on the 10-minute. Is the price above or below the cloud? So now, if the SPY and the Qs are trending if the SPY and Qs are trending up, which this last 3 weeks we've been very bullish. Why have we've been bullish? Because SPY and Qs are trending up, and everything is starting to move up with it. We've been having very sporadic moves. In this case, every day we're keeping SPY and Qs on our screen that you guys know, and we're looking if they're trending in the same direction that we're looking to trade in. So identify the trend in the 10-minute. Is price above or below the cloud? Number 3, wait for price to pull back into the cloud zone, and then enter on a 10-minute candle close at or in the cloud, right? Hold as long as candles continue to close above cloud for calls and below the cloud for puts. So what this means is if you guys are trading calls, right? And you really want to juice the trade. I'm gonna say juice the trade. You really want to hold the trade because you know that it's going to everything. The whole sector is ripping. SPY and Qs are going, and you want to milk the trade. All you do is just watch the 10-minute. If the 10-minute is trending with the clouds, You just have to sit there and manage and hold. And the moment that the price gets under the clouds and gets a close under the clouds, you get out of the trade. Trade's done. Now I'm going to give you guys a lot of examples of what this looks like and how to really play it in the best way after this. But it's really pretty simple. If you're looking for directional movement, whether it's up, whether it's down, we thrive off of directional movement. So all we're doing is waiting and identifying a trend. If the trend is strong in either to the upside or to the downside, we are looking to play that direction. If something is just chopping around, it's no good for us. We can't play it. It doesn't make sense for us to play it because we thrive in a directional market. Our strategy doesn't work in a market that's not directional. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a few examples of what it looks like to the upside and what it looks like to the downside and what it looks like to choppy and not trade. Why clouds only works? It's simple and clean signal, no conflicting indicators. 4 EMAs create a dynamic zone that adapts to the price and gives you that trailing support or resistance. Cloud flips equals clear / objective exit signal, right? If we break under the cloud, it's a clear momentum shift. We're completely out. We get out, right? Let's say our trade goes from 150% back to 100% and we have to get out. That's fine. It doesn't matter if we leave any profits on the table. We tried to milk the trade, and that's our goal. Our goal is just trade management. Your goal as a trader is to milk the good trades as best you can, and you have to have a system in place that tells you when to cut your trades. Cloud flip equals your exit. When using clouds only, your exit is clear. Only the 10-minute candle closes back through the clouds in the opposite direction. That's your signal to exit the trade immediately. Now I'm going to give you guys a bunch of examples after we finish the slides.
So my approach, the clouds plus the VWAP bands. I add the VWAP bands to the clouds for additional context. The clouds are still the entry. VWAP tells you who's in control and helps with holding decisions. So the ARC clouds are your entry confirmation on the 10-minute close. Your directional bias is if the cloud is above, or if price is above, this equals calls. If price is below, this equals puts. This is your primary hold / exit signal, right? The clouds are the primary indicator in our system, guys, right? So cloud flips equals trade invalidated. So the VWAP band roll is the middle VWAP band, my blue band, equals buyer / seller's control line. So same kind of situation with the cloud. If price is above the middle VWAP, buyers are in control. If price is below the VWAP, sellers are in control. If right there, let's see, and then the upper band and the lower band are the stretch zones, right? If we see price go from that middle VWAP and cloud test and come back or go back up to the top VWAP band and start to trade above it, using it like a layer of support alongside the clouds, it's going to give you more conviction to hold. And I'm going to be going and showing examples of this as well, just showing you guys how you can layer the VWAP bands alongside the clouds to give you that higher conviction. Right? So combining the edge, cloud pullback plus VWAP test equals high confidence. VWAP helps you hold through the noise. Exit price returns. You exit when the price returns to middle VWAP. Let's say you've been trending upwards all day, and let's say your clouds, even your higher time frames, start to catch up to where price is. That's going to give you stronger conviction to hold your trade if the clouds are catching up. But if the clouds are still far away and we're testing that upper band or lower band in the put situation, and you get a close below it back towards the VWAP, you can use that as your either trim signal or get out because price is going to come back, pull back, premium is going to go, and it might fail. It's obviously when you've already juiced most of the trade out. You don't want to do it too early in your trade because you might get faked out. There's still a lot of cloud tests throughout the day, throughout the trend. So that's why I feel like Rich also just doesn't add the VWAP bands on top because he just relies on the clouds because they're the primary indicator in our system. So key insight, you don't need VWAP bands. They are a bonus tool for confluence and holding confidence, not a requirement. So when clouds and VWAPs align, this equals a high confidence zone. So scenario A, let's say the clouds and the VWAP are aligned. The setup is price pulls back to the ARC cloud and the cloud zone lines up with the VWAP level, middle or band. And I'll be showing you guys this with the first example that I give after this class. Action, this is your best entry, strong confluence, higher probability of a balance. Example, let's say stock tests the 10-minute cloud, pulls back right at the middle VWAP, and this signals both support. right? So enter calls. Then you have scenario B. Cloud front runs the VWAPs. The setup is a strong and a fast trendy day. The ARC clouds are already above or below the VWAP bands already, right? Let's say just like today on Tesla where they went from trading below the middle VWAP to catching up all the way to the top VWAP and giving you tests in multiple entries on those higher test trends, right? So the meaning is the momentum is so strong that the EMAs have pulled away from VWAP. Price doesn't need to reach VWAP. Action, trust the cloud entries. Don't wait for clouds front VWAP on strong moves. Example, MU is trading hard. Cloud pulls back at 98. I don't know why it says 98. We're not at 98. But the upper band is at 96. Cloud pulls back to 98 are still valid. Bottom line, cloud pullbacks equals entry trigger always. VWAP alignment makes it stronger, but the clouds is sufficient on its own. You want to go over 30-minute cloud test versus 10-minute?
Yeah, that's my bad. Looking for setup. Versus 30-minute cloud entry. So sometimes when a 10-minute cloud test fails, price continues down to the 30-minute cloud test. That can be your sniper entry if you have the patience. So if you're looking to enter something on the initial 10-minute test, but you recognize that selling around that 10-minute test is pretty significant and ends up breaking through the cloud as you're looking to enter, flip to the 30-minute time frame and look at where that 30-minute EMA is, that 30-minute cloud is. Now, if price is looks like it's gonna continue down to that cloud, you could look for that cloud to act as a very heavy support. So you could look at that cloud to enter your trade against that cloud, right? With your stop loss under that cloud. So 10-minute cloud entry, most frequent. Price regularly tests the 10-minute cloud. Your entry, 10-minute candle closes at or into the cloud on a pullback. Works on both trending and slower days, but works best on trending days. More entries equals more opportunities, but required proper discipline. And that goes back into our trade management, into the classes that we did. Now, who is this best for? This is best for active traders that are catching multiple trades per day, right? Now, the 30-minute cloud entry, sniper only. Less frequent, price doesn't always reach the 30-minute cloud test. Your entry zone, your entry is if the 10-minute fails / flips and price continues down to the 30-minute cloud zone. You could take a trade against the cloud acting as your support or resistance. And this, a lot of times, and we have somebody in the chat who shout out to Zach, strictly takes 30 minutes hourly cloud test. A plus setup for him in his trading. So everyone's trading is different. Sometimes if you're a more aggressive trader like me, the 10-minute can work very nice for you. And now every market condition is different too, right? Some market conditions will be perfect for the 10-minute test, and some market conditions will be perfect for that 30-minute patient test. It's up to you every day to really distinguish what day is it and how aggressive to approach your trading. Right? And that's a whole other class that we're going to do. So works best on / range bound days, the 30-minute. A higher conviction setup, fewer but high quality signals. Warning, you will miss trades waiting for this. That's the trade-off. Pro tip, trending days equals riding the 10-minute test. So riding the 10-minute clouds, any 10-minute test is a buy. And I'm going to give you guys an example on this. And then slow and choppy days equals wait for the 30-minute sniper entry. The day type determines your approach. And like I just said, this is a whole other lesson that we're going to do, is how to determine what kind of day it's going to be. And this just comes to overall scanning the market. And this is what we do as a team in the lives.
So, candle close discipline. Never enter early. We don't predict, we react. We always wait for a full candle close before entering any trade. 10-minute close, primary intraday entry trigger. Closes every 10-minute close, right? We want to be focusing on the 10-minute closes. The wicks are going to tell the story. The volume behind the candle is also going to tell you a lot on the tests. We've mentioned this before, how to pair the volume alongside the cloud test, right? You want to see less volume on those opposite candles going down. On, let's say, on a bullish move, you want to see those red candles have less selling pressure than the buying volume on the way up, right? So 30-minute close, sniper entry, trend confirmation, closes every 30 minutes. Higher conviction, 10-minute, let's say your 10-minute failed, now the 30-minute test, cloud test, then you enter, right? Sometimes, even in a very trendy market, let's say stock makes a very big move, has been making a very big move, and we see a big pullback. Some people get scared as soon as it crosses down the 10-minute. Let's say it hits the 30-minute, and then an hour later it's already back at those highs, right? We've seen that multiple times. So it's important to see the 30-minute also on those trendy days, right? Then you got your hourly closes, mid-session trend check, closes every 60 minutes, confirms broader direction. Don't enter on hourly alone. Use the 10-minute. 4-hour closes, context plus big move confirmation. Closes 4 times per day. A cloud above/below equals strong directional bias for the session, right? Especially if you're seeing sometimes in the morning with the going back to those first 30-minute closes, sometimes they're the test of the cloud, right? Or sometimes in the pre-market, we make the move up, and then that 4-hour test is right in the morning where we see that little volatility, the pullbacks, the scare, and then we go back to the normal trend, right? Happened today on MU. Then you got your daily closes. End of day review. You're going to want to be looking at these daily in the morning, right? Before the market opens, see what happened yesterday. You're going to want to see where we open up at as well in comparison to the cloud, depending if we gapped up, gapped down, and whatnot. And then obviously intraday. Let's say you're in the middle of a trade or you're looking to get into a trade, and let's say a stock is pulled back and you think that it's already found the floor and it's going to start to curl up. Sometimes looking at that daily, like today and on MU, we identified that if it were to go green on the day, the daily, that it would come back up and fill in the gap that we created the night before, right? Which it ended up doing. I think that the daily is really good overall just to be looking at alongside your 4-hour, hourly, 30-minute, and 10-minute, right? So holding the trade, cloud versus VWAP rules, as long as the trend stays intact, you can stay inside the trade. The cloud tells you when the trend is still valid versus when it is over. So guys, I have seen that a lot of people have been taking percentage-based profits, missing some of the move. We've been seeing some huge moves, guys. Some people are just taking 30, 50% and watching 2, 3, 400% run in their face. Why is this happening? It's because you're taking percentage-based exits instead of what the chart is telling you, right? If the trend is still holding, if your cloud tests are still holding, there's really no reason to get out of the trade until you see it fail, right? So for calls, your holding conditions are a cloud hold, candles continue to close above the cloud, trend is intact, stay in. For your VWAP hold, price stays above the upper VWAP band, holding in strength zone, right? So as long as it's trading above the VWAP band, just like Tesla did today on the 10-minute, which I'll show you guys afterwards, you'll be able to see how every test of that top VWAP band plus the cloud was an entry, right? So a warning exit would be a 10-minute close candle starting to close back into the cloud. Get ready to exit, right? You can always see if the volume is sustaining or not, if it's going to chop through, or if it's just a test, right? So exit trigger is a 10-minute close back through or VWAP below the cloud. This means exit your trade, right? This means that you're potentially looking at a trend flip. And then your exit trigger for VWAP is when price closes back below, back down to the middle VWAP line, right? Exit the trade. So for puts, your holding conditions is when the cloud holding is when the candles continue to close below the cloud. This is identifying a bearish trend, staying intact, stay in. A VWAP hold is when price stays below your lower VWAP band, holding in the weakness zone. Same kind of way how we use the upper band as that hold, right? Your exit warning is when the 10-minute candles start to close back up into the cloud. Start getting ready to exit. Your exit trigger at the clouds would be a 10-minute candle close back through / above the cloud. Exit the trade because we are potentially going to get a trend shift. Your exit trigger for VWAP is when price closes back up to the middle VWAP line. This means exit your trade. You want to go over trendy days versus slow days and adjusting your approach?
All right, so trending days versus slow days and adjusting your approach. So we primarily trade individual names like MU, NVIDIA, AMD, ARM, NVIDIA, CoreWeave, the list goes on, based on the day's story / sentiment, or based on the overall market story / sentiment. SPY / QQ scalps are reserved for strong trending days only. Now, what is a trending day? What we trade, individual names with strong momentum. We look for sectors that are running together in correlation. It's very easy to trade it when you know the whole sector is moving up, and you'll see when you need to exit because everything will be moving simultaneously, right? On days when we see everything moving straight up and respecting the cloud test, SPY and QQQ scalps are also valid on these days. The cloud behavior, right? The 10-minute cloud tests are brief and bounce quickly. There's a steep cloud angle, and price holds direction pretty much all day. Now, if we look at what I said before, there is an example of that. The entry approach is multiple 10-minute pullback entries throughout the day as price trends. You could have entered on any single one of those 10-minute pullbacks. The hold strategy, right? If the VWAP band riding work, no, the hold strategy, the VWAP band riding, but yo, Angel, you got that, bro.
All right, so for the hold strategy, the VWAP
I don't know.
band riding works here. Stay in as long as the clouds and VWAP confirm, right? So as long as both of your indicators are pointing in the same direction, trending upwards, holding, let's say the clouds are starting to move from the middle VWAP to the top one, continue to hold.
Facts. All right. What do we watch for? We watch for flattening clouds slash VWAP bands. This equals momentum fading. We either have to tighten up the position or exit the position. Now, slow and choppy days, what we trade. Stick to individual names following the day's story slash sentiment and avoid SPY and QQQ. Usually, the cloud behavior on these days, the 10-minute test fail. You'll see many fake trends. Now, this just means you'll see price try to break out and then just fall right back into that choppy range. And I'll give you guys multiple examples of this. Price pokes through but doesn't hold directionless, essentially. The entry approach here is wait for the 30-minute cloud test on the stock that you're watching. Now, this takes patience, which equals fewer but higher quality trades on slow, choppy days in the market. The hold strategy, tighter holds. Don't trail with VWAP bands. They don't work in choppy conditions. You trail with the clouds. The EMAs will tell you instantly, right? Price on choppy days will either completely reject the VWAP bands and the EMA clouds, and you'll know. Watch for both time frames. If both time frames are choppy with no story, then sit out. And we go over this in class 14. So the key here is SPY and QQQ cloud tells you the market mood. Your trade is the individual name that has a story slash sentiment behind it that day or that week or that month, right? And now this, what we mean by story and sentiment is we know why is MU and SNDK ripping because of these memory bottleneck, right? Everyone wants all this. The chip. What do the chips need? Memory. They can't get enough memory. There's a huge bottleneck in the memory system, right? In the memory supply chain, and that's causing all these memory prices to shoot up and skyrocket. And who's benefiting from that? Companies like MU, SNDK, WDC, and STX, right? And these good earnings just confirm that demand, and that demand is going to be here for the next 5 years, confirmed. So it could be a wild ride, and we've been spot on with our analysis on this. And this has been for the last 6 months we've been watching these and playing these up and down since 250, and now they're at 600 and 1300, 1400 or whatever. So that's what we mean. That's what we mean by story slash sentiment behind it. And
Facts. So, common entry mistakes to avoid. Entering during the candle before it closes. Why? The candle hasn't confirmed yet. It can reverse and leave you in a bad entry. Always wait for the candle to close. Set a timer for the candle close. You can do this on, I'm pretty sure this is already automatic on TradingView. You can see every single time with a little timer when a candle is about to close. Every broker offers this. Turn it on if it's not already on. Watch, don't touch it, react at the close. Enter when price is inside the cloud, not at the edge. Why? Trading inside the cloud is the transition zone. Direction is uncertain. Wait for clear confirmation above or below. Fix. Only enter when the candle closes at the edge or clearly into the cloud on a pullback. Mistake number 3 is chasing price after it bounces from the cloud. Why? You missed the close, you missed the entry. Entering late means worse risk to reward and possible FOMO trade. Fix, miss the entry, wait for the next pullback to the cloud. Don't chase. Even in trendy days, guys, there will be multiple pullbacks, right? So just try your best to not get in if it's not at the cloud. It's going to save you more times than pay you, right? So mistake number 4, trading an individual name that is moving against SPY and QQQ direction. Why? If SPY is bearish and you're buying calls on NVIDIA, you're fighting the market sentiment. The index cloud sets the bias for all trades. Fix, use SPY and QQQ cloud direction as your filter. Trade names that are moving with the indexes, not against it. One thing that I would definitely say is if a sector as a whole, not just one stock, but a whole sector is moving in another direction than the overall market, then you have go to be able to trade against what SPY and Qs is doing, right? Especially if there's a story or a headline behind it. But if you want to play it safer, don't trade against SPY and QQ direction, right? Facts. Go over pre-entry checklist, Rich.
What did you say?
So can you go over pre-entry checklist, Rich?
Yo, are you mumbling, gang? Are you mumbling, bro?
Nah.
I genuinely just didn't hear that much.
Sounds like you're cutting
Uh,
out.
it sounds like I'm cutting out. Actually,
Not anymore. You spoke loud enough. You were mumbling.
I'm holding the. I bet. All right, pre-entry checklist. Run this every time. Run through this for every entry. The more boxes checked, the higher your conviction. Full alignment is the ideal, but let's be realistic. Not every trade will be perfect. If it was, then we would be rich. Hello. Spying. So what is the spying QQQ cloud direction? Index cloud sets the market mood. Your individual name aligns with the direction. You want to know that your stock is trending with the overall market, right? You don't want to be trading counter market trend. What is the daily plus 4 hour context? So clouds confirm the bigger trend on these higher time frames. Is this a is this a pullback to the cloud? Price is pulled back to the cloud and you're not chasing the breakout. You never want to be chasing the breakout. Things always pull back and test for that. Candle close confirmation, 10-minute or 30-minute candle has closed at in the cloud. VWAP check, middle VWAP confirms direction, cloud zone aligns with VWAP level. Is your risk defined? Know your max loss, 5 to 10% of your account. Strike and expiration selected. We went over is class 11. And what day type is it? Is it a trending day? Then you're looking for 10-minute slash 5-minute entries. If it's a slow and choppy day, wait for the 30-minute. If it's a really choppy day, sit out, man.
Do you want to go over the takeaways or you want me to do it? I bet. So, class 16 takeaways. Cloud pullbacks are the entry. Always wait for the 10-minute candle close at or in the cloud. Multi-time frame alignment. Check the daily, check the 4 hour, check the 30-minute, check the 10-minute before every entry. SPY and QQQ alignment adds conviction. The more time frames that agree, the better. But trades still play out without full alignment. Rich's system is clouds only. My system is clouds plus VWAP for confirmation and holding. 10-minute entries on trendy days, 30-minute sniper entries on slower days. VWAP plus cloud alignment equals highest confidence entry. Clouds front run VWAP on strong trends. Exit when cloud flips, 10-minute close back through or price returning to middle VWAP. In our next class 17, we'll be going over trading psychology, going over discipline, FOMO, and the mental game. Going into a deeper dive of some of the emotions that you could feel live trading. Let's say we swung something, you didn't take it, and you're sitting there with FOMO trying to look for the next move, and it's clouding your judgment. You want the trade that you're taking to have the same result, one that you may have missed out on. So just going into a deeper dive on how to deal with those emotions and how to go around it so you don't cloud your judgment when getting into a trade. But right now we'll go into some charts. Rich, do you want me to show my chart first or do you want to show your charts?
Show yours. I'll give you a few examples of the names.
Let me just show them Tesla first here. You guys see my screen? Right?
This is a very clean example of Tesla.
So guys, pretty much in the morning, you see Tesla come down here, and if we actually switch to the daily like we seen before, where did price open up, guys? Price opened up right at the daily cloud with a gap to the upside because price closed right here yesterday, and we opened up right here today. So in the first 10 minutes, we got that first dip down, right? We got that first dip down, and the next 10-minute candle instantly came back and closed above that middle VWAP band, right? Strong close back above, kind of indicating to us that, hey, price might want to hold here. So if you let a couple of the candles play out, we see that we start to get some cloud tests here. And let's say you didn't get in on this entry. Let's say you didn't get in because you thought that price was going to reverse because we were rejecting off of 391. But then price holds above. You didn't miss your entry. You have a cloud test right here. And once price started to trend higher and showing like, hey, we actually want to hold, we have momentum here. Do you guys see how this primary cloud right here goes from the middle VWAP to the top VWAP? You guys see how on a high trendy day, the EMAs front run what the VWAPs are doing? Every single test at these top VWAPs, even right here, waiting for this candle close right here, shows you that cloud tests are ideal on this 10-minute. Even looking at the 30-minute, guys, right? Cloud test right here. VWAPs held up here. We didn't come down to the cloud because we were trending high. We were moving with, right? 4-hour test. Look at the 1-hour test, guys. You see a strong hold above. We came down, tested, wicked at 391 2 times, testing the cloud, right? Shows you guys that trend is strong. Just some multi-time frame analysis. 4-hour was a little bit harder to read today, right? Because it opened up here. It didn't really do anything off of the cloud, right? It just chopped through it and just held above. But the daily was the real kind of tell. If you were looking at this in the morning, you could have used the gap fill as your first trim zone and seen that we were holding with momentum, right? There was another one that I wanted to look over. What was one of your examples?
So look at Dell. This was an aggressive one. Dell was an aggressive one. I don't know if your clouds show it. Yeah, they do. Look at every pullback was a buy there.
And wait, before you continue explain this, you guys see how at the beginning of the day there's no cloud expansion? This is, yes, we're holding the cloud, but there's no trend yet here, guys, right? If you don't see the expansion yet, once you see the expansion, these tests right here, Rich, if you want to just go over this really quick before I just babble on.
Every test, look at that. Every test is a potential entry. Every single test is a potential entry. Wait for that initial move. You see it ripping, you can't follow into it. You can if you have the right proper risk management, but you can't get scared if you get caught off sides. You have to know the ideal and proper entry is always going to be against the clouds. Like, see, is there any way that you could like marker your screen on
Yeah.
those two candles?
What, right here?
Like, yeah, right there. Those are your entries right there. Boom, all of those. So I see 1, 2, and I see 3 entries right there. 1, 2, 3, and then you really don't want to enter when it's all the way up at the end, towards the end of the day, because obviously it's the end of the day.
Facts. Right up here. But, Rich, I was going to even say, because some people have been struggling with holding trades, I think that, say you were in this trade and you start to see 3 red candles like this, you could tell yourself, I'm going to hold as long as the candles close above the clouds or the top VWAP band. And if you would have done that, you would have been chilling on every single test. You would have been holding and maximizing your profits. Polo Loco, today you held Tesla throughout the whole day, right? Today you have finally seen what a 0DT can do. You maximized it. You bought at the bottom. You sold at the top. What did you use? You used the clouds. You used the VWAPs. You used your levels, right? Literally our system. And today just showed perfectly on a trendy day how it works. What was another example that you had?
Glow was another aggressive one.
Which one?
Oak glow. Hello. Does this show you any good ones?
Yeah.
This shows you a really good one.
Look right here. I'll start to mark them out right here. Yours are more aggressive, so I know that this is a cloud test for you right here. You know what I've realized? My 5-minute clouds line up with your more aggressive clouds. Look at this. Does this look more like your clouds? Rico? Yeah, Apple was the...
A little bit.
Guys, even on the 5-minute test right here, look. Boom. After we showed that trend flip to the upside, this test right here is your entry, right? This hold right here of the cloud and the top VWAP band is your entry. Let's see here.
How it looks on mine. Put in the chat.
Look at Apple, guys.
Apple was perfect. Look at this one. This was a really good one. Slow grinder after that initial pump, but still, it was a perfect entry. You just have to let it cook.
Every wick, guys. Every wick is identifying to you that trend wants to hold, right? And even for these higher ones, you can use these as entries for swing, especially if you're looking at the dailies and everything is lining up, right?
Yo, Concrete Queen, any questions?
Look in the video here. Look, you guys see all 6 of these charts, guys?
I'm trying to find something that they don't want to trade.
Right here on the charts, I have SPY, Qs, Apple, NVIDIA, Palantir, and Tesla. Which one is the one that you're not trading here, guys? Which one is the one that you would steer away from? What is doing the opposite of everything else, right? So let's say you're looking at multiple stocks, whether they're in the same sector, whether it's just on your watch list, or it's something that we mentioned during the day or in the morning, right? If you see the correlation, if you see that, for example, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 out of the 6 stocks that you're looking at are doing the same thing, what side are you going to play? What are you going to do at every cloud test? Or what are you going to, if you're getting a cloud test on Tesla, what are you going to look for? Are you getting a cloud test on NVIDIA? Is NVIDIA pulling back too? Is SPY pulling back? Is Q's pulling back? Right? So when everything is doing the same thing, correlating, let's say your stock is dipping a little bit still, but you already see SPY and Q starting to bounce at the cloud. What is that going to tell you? It's probably going to give you a higher conviction to hold your trade and to know that it's probably going to come back with the rest of the market. So not only looking at multiple time frames, guys, but looking at multiple stocks is going to help you guys hold with conviction and know, am I playing the right stock? Is there a better opportunity out there? Maybe I missed the trade on the stock I wanted to take, but a stock in the same sector is about to do the same move. You know? That's how you take advantage of trading individuals, guys. Wouldn't you agree, Rich?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a reason y'all don't trade Qs and SPY?
We do. We just haven't recently, honestly.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't like the signal zero DT trades. It's just not my thing. It's so quick for somebody to lose 50% of their investment, and like somebody has the wrong entry or somebody who's new, blow them up. Boom, lose.
You know what I want to talk about really quick? Look, Meta, guys. What happened with Meta today? We had a huge pump, but we had no continuation, right? We just formed a flag for the rest of the day. So, how can you identify this early? Look at the VWAP bands, guys, right? During the pump, you can see that the VWAP bands were super close to the trend. They rode up super tight, and as soon as we started to pull back, they flattened out for the rest of the day. What happened to the clouds as well? The clouds went from switching to expanding to getting a little bit tighter and more narrow. Once you see this, the secondary cloud get more narrow and tighten up, it's probably identifying to you that the trend isn't going to continue. Or if it starts sloping down even before price does, because it does that sometimes, it's identifying to you that it might not want to continue, right? Just because I see some people get in after a huge pump and not continue and then be confused. What's another one?
Another trending. I want to show them an example of something that's choppy that you don't trade.
That less. I know the perfect stock. We'll just
Look
do
at
this
GL.
one.
What are you gonna do?
I was just gonna look at SPY on a choppy day like this, I guess, right? It's pretty clear, guys. You have some cloud expansion, but all these closes on the 10-minute are below the VWAP, so those contradicting signals and just everything flattening out is just showing you that there's no expansion. Let's look at another choppy day. Look at these trendy tests. These tests. This right here, garbage, low volume, spikes, wicks, no expansion, slow chop down. Look at AMD today. Let's see AMD today. AMD wasn't really a trade today. Look at these clouds. Telling you all day that there wasn't going to be no sort of trend. But that pre-market though, look at the clouds.
In the video today.
Video today's nice. Cloud tests, cloud hold. Low volume on the tests. Nice. Do you guys understand? Does everyone understand? Concrete, you understand? This should make sense, guys. Look at the 30-minute tests. It just wicks right to the cloud. Hourly.
Is concrete? I don't see him typing.
Is she listening?
I feel like the MU lotto was more so. It's so.
Roll up continuation trade plus the flow that came in, right? Look at the 4 hours more of a tell why too. Because once we seen this first 4 hour close, remember how we were looking at this wick in the morning, Rich?
Mhm.
And then what? We closed right here on the 4 hour, and then we seen a clean close above. That's what indicated us to hold. We're still at the 4 hour above it. But look at the daily on MU here. It's just been going. Hammer candle's kind of scary, but
What, this hammer up candle? Why is it scary? If anything, that's bullish.
I just be getting scared. I'm mad pussy. We're just,
You are mad pussy. No, I'm just kidding. Well, nah, you just have to like. And Micron's having its NVIDIA moment now. It's finally breaking out like we thought it was for this whole time. Obviously, it has been, but if you look at that weekly, now we're finally getting that week. I feel like this is the last week we're really going to be playing MU for a while, unless it really squeezes to 1,000 like in K's doing. But because it's going to get to a point where it's like, we were right. Now, what's next? You know what I mean? That's what I was talking about with Andrew the other day.
Danny said, bro, Angel, I want a long meta tomorrow because the 1 hour, but the 4 hour is telling me otherwise. What do you think? So let's break it down from the weekly. Meta's been in a choppy downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows. We're in the middle, and the cloud is above us, so weekly bearish, right? Then if we flip to the daily here, we have huge gaps to the upside, huge gaps to the downside, holding a base psychological level of 600. We can see that for the last couple of days we have been holding 600, not seeing a break below, but also not a breakout above even these highs of the first gap down. Then on the 4 hour here, looks like it's in a bearish trend, closed above that first cloud, still has to test the secondary cloud, which is harder to break through. Your hourly is telling you that we are holding above, made a nice flag on the hourly, but low volume, starting to close more into the cloud. Candles are getting smaller, just smaller volume. 30-minute, same kind of ordeal, closing below the cloud, that first cloud. 10-minute, starting to close below. I would wait for tomorrow. I would wait to see where we open tomorrow, if there's any momentum. There was some meta news after hours. $500 million contract deal with the government. So let's see if that has any sort of move in the morning, or if that's going to be a longer term thing to price in with Meta. Is that something that is going to move it, or is this kind of choppy downtrend that we're in going to continue? The way that I would look at it.
MU still looks good, but it's just a matter about how far can it squeeze now. Until it needs to consolidate now for the next move, and we need to give it up probably after this week, or maybe after next week. Maybe it continues into next week. We'll see. We're gonna continue to play it accordingly, but once the music stops, I have a feeling it's it needs to consolidate for like maybe a month.
Okay. Other questions, guys?
I get
How,
tired
how,
as a motherfucker.
how could we be like this isn't a cloud test? What stock is that? 619. What stock is that?
I think we low key consolidate on memory until next earnings after this move.
I got a different one on my screen, pa. Come on now. Tell me which one, gang. I'm yelling out, gang. Yo, I flipped through mad charts, bro. I don't know which one. Yo, I want to tell you, but it's also based off like volume and whatnot. But like, can you determine if that's not a cloud test? I mean, you see how it's so overexpanded? I'm guessing on those cloud tests there was still big volume. Not sure because there's no volume there to read. I don't know the stock. There's only one line on it. I'm yelling out, gang it. Do you gang bang? Let's see. Yeah. Is USAR done? Damn! USAR came down and gave the sniper entry at 27. Look, right in the morning. Boom! Yeah, USAR yesterday. Cloud test.
Yo, next pullback day on USA is a buy.
Yeah. Thing looks good on the higher time frames. Is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, the weekly on this looks insane. Look at that, Rich. You remember this? Right here? Rico.
What is that?
USAR on
Oh
January
yeah.
20th to the 26th.
Oh yeah.
Oh, baby. Behold, the plan, the man, stand. Who's Meta? Let me see. No, it's not Meta. Look at the chart.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. I'm not out right now. I'm so tired, bro.
It's just the volume. Look, the volume afterwards, just there's no follow through. You see how in the morning the pump, it just, Meta's volume just died out. That's what it simply was. You see how the didn't show any sort of like continuation or like curve up on this test. Clouds also were starting to flatten here. Like if you see the expansion right here and the clouds starting to like get a little bit smaller. Like usually a trendy cloud test where you know continue, it's still big and the VWAPs are still pointing upwards on the tests, you know? Do a class on solely price action. I mean you see it on, let me see. Oh shit. Alright, so you have to turn your night and extended hours off. Alright, but the cloud is still the same. It's just different data, guys, because the night and the extended hours are off. So, like, they're a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like, look at them right here. Look at them right here. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. Let's see. It's going to show the same volume that's now. Let me see. Alright, boom. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me pause right here. I would have been like, okay, slowly with movement out the cloud. We just don't see any continuation though. You see how like afterwards the two next candles are still very low volume? And, like the star candle right here, like usually a big you want to see continuation. If you don't even see the test of the VWAP, you should be scared by this candle right here. You know? Entry would have been the green candle, yeah. And like the candle closed right here, you would have been like, okay, like seeing continuation yet. You know? Probably be scared as in like I got in, but we're not seeing any sort of expansion yet, you know? Tell sign that it's not going to continue. Yeah, it would be a quick cut. Yeah. Yeah, so you hold through this, like this is kind of over that we're going to slowly, like kind of seeing the start to like, here. You know what I mean? Like if you're holding through this, it's brutal. And then let's say you wait for the candle close below the first cloud, you get out right here. That's why like the volume is important, knowing like how to read price action. So we do a class on price action actually, yeah. And we'll use this bar replay feature. Yeah, it should know continuation after every test. That cleared it up. Any other questions, guys? While we're here, I know Rich is already sleeping. Too many blinkers. You guys like this class? You guys like the deep breakdown? Yeah. Any guys? Last, because I'm low-key tired too. But I really want to make sure that you guys understand this. Because I know that there's some people that system, but maybe want a deeper breakdown. Or let's say they took a trade and they're like, wait, why didn't this work out? You know? No, guys. Doesn't look like anyone has any more questions, though. We should all screenshot traded during the day. Have questions? Yeah, I mean, always bring screenshots to class. Screenshots are always going to be good because it tells what the price action is there before the cloud forms, so you can kind of have judgment based on what's in front of the screen, not the full story already. That's a great idea. So it gives you kind of a realistic view rather than having full 20/20 hindsight to be able to rely on, you know? That's a great idea, Rhino. Yeah, one map per person. Facts. Don't with like 50 million gang. I bet. Doesn't look like anyone has any more questions. So I'll just get right into prayer and we'll head out of here, guys. Angel, can you teach us about different types of candles? Yeah, we'll go over price action, different types of candles, candle formations, how to, the closing compared to where the clouds are, where the VWAP bands are, how the volume is, you know? We'll do that to give you guys a better understanding of how to interpret these happening during the day. Bad. Okay, let me get right into prayer, guys. Dear Heavenly Father, I'd just like to thank you so much for having such a dedicated team here. Lord, I just ask you to continue to guide us with patience, with a mind, and just with discipline every single day to be able to take these opportunities and be able to bless the ones around us, Lord. I just ask you to give everyone the rest that they need tonight to be able to perform at maximum proficiency tomorrow with a clear mind and the best judgment. Yeah, in Jesus I pray. Amen. Let's get it. I hope everyone gets the rest that y'all need. And I'll get this video uploaded to you guys. I'm going to upload all of this week's
Amen.